My name is Victoria, as you've already heard, and I'm here to show to you my project called Perspective. A year ago, during my art class, my teacher asked me to come up with a project that I saw as an issue in the world, and I chose body image. Now, my mom is a very strong, independent woman, who in turn was also raised by a strong, independent woman, and so I was really drawn towards this subject. In 2010, I went camping with my mom's side of the family to a remote place, and that rounded up to be about 60 people. So near the end of the trip, around 10 o'clock at night, it was really dark, and the only thing giving light to the surrounding area was campfire. I was playing with my 3-year-old cousin, spinning him around, and before I know it, I was on the ground and I couldn't move. My mom had raced over because my cousin was underneath my leg, and she was cuddling him and seeing if he was all right, but I noticed I couldn't move the leg he was under. So I reached down and I felt that my kneecap wasn't in its socket. So I was freaking out, obviously, and those were the longest couple of seconds of my life. My uncles had realized that I was on the ground for too long, and they raced over to see what was wrong. They have the highest level of first aid, which means that they were able to help me safely get my kneecap back in place. And I was up, and I was icing my leg, and the rest of the trip was fine, but I was just wondering what was wrong. So after 6 more knee dislocations, my mom took me to Children's Hospital to investigate and see what was wrong. And after a while, we found out that I had something called extreme generalized hypermobility disorder. It's a really long name, but it basically means that I am hypermobile over my entire body, so I can overextend and injure myself really easily, and I can almost not find out until it's too late, until it's too much of an injury. And this is what happened with my knee. So the doctors had to go in, and they had to move my tendon, tibia, ligament, cut and reconstruct my muscle, and put 2 screws into my tibia. This left me with a 6.5-inch scar. Now, the recovery process for this was long. I spent 6 months in a full leg cast along with multiple leg braces, and I couldn't do anything for myself. I couldn't get in and out of the car. I couldn't sit without help. I needed help taking a shower. So obviously during this time I felt really isolated and really useless, really. So I recovered and I was doing really well, but then 2 years later I needed to have the exact same surgery on my other leg, which left me with another 6.5-inch scar. How I felt about my body during this time and how I overcame that insecurity was a big reason as to why I started this project. Body image has been an issue for decades. Even in the days of Marilyn Monroe, where people idealized curves and full figures, they were always self-conscious. Now, media is the enemy of the self-conscious. In pictures and magazines, you see women who are, in our society today, ideal. And I remember looking at those photos and feeling really sad, wishing I was that woman. There have been products released recently for full coverage foundation that looks just like skin. But why are we trying to cover our skin if that's what we're trying to achieve? This is what this project is for, showing natural beauty for all shapes and sizes. Now, I'm a makeup designer for theater, so I am a big supporter of makeup and using it to enhance your natural beauty. But in order to not use it as a mask, you have to be comfortable with yourself in your most raw form from the inside and out. God says to love your neighbor as yourself. But how can you love your neighbor if you don't love yourself? Think of your loved ones. What do you think about? Do you think of the horrible things, or do you think of the good things? I'm going to assume you're thinking of the good things, and this is what I'm trying to show today. perspective. We see what others don't. We are made in the image of God. When people see you, they see the good in you. They see what makes you shine and what makes you, you. You won't go up to someone and point out their imperfections, so obviously people won't do the same thing to you. More people are worried about themselves than they are scrutinizing you. And this is especially difficult for teenagers today. We live in a materialistic society where we idealize perfection and we try to conform to the it crowd, forgetting our individuality. This is also a struggle for men today. This is what I'm trying to achieve with my models here, perspective. These models are showing us something different, another layer to my project. They are showing to you their perceived flaws, what they feel is not good about themselves. So we're going to play a little game. This is my friend Alina. What do you guys see is beautiful about her?
Her eyes.
Her eyes? Her smile? Fantastic. What would you think if I told you that what she was most worried about was her arms? She doesn't like them. This is Elisa. What do you see about her? Her eyes? Anything else? Shoulders. That's interesting. Nice skin. That's good. What she actually feels about herself is not good. It's her figure. She thinks she's too slim. Next one. This is my friend Jen. What do you see about her that's most beautiful? Her smile. What would you think if I told you she was most worried about her stomach? She thinks it's too big. This is what I'm trying to show you. This is my friend Leanna. She thinks her calves are too big. This is my brother Anthony. Can you point out something you think is awesome about him? His smile. His hair. That's a good one. He thinks his smile isn't good. He doesn't like it. And that's what you're drawn to most about him. That's something so important about this project. This is me. I find that my scars are a big flaw because they are something that most people don't have. Use these pictures as an example today. These models are showing to you their perceived flaws, what they feel is not beautiful about themselves. Your insecurities, others see as beauty. If the world was the same, the world would be boring. Look for the good in you and in others. Imagine a society where people would point out the good in yourself and in others, where we bring each other up, we think of the positive and suppress the negative. I want you to leave here today with a new sense of self, a brand new perspective. Look at yourself and say, hey, I look pretty good today. And know without a doubt that you are a child of God, made in His image, that wherever you go and whatever you do, you can always be confident in that. Thank you.